I'm going to introduce Drew, and then he's going to be joining us by, along with Bill McKibben. That's right. Bill McKibben will be phoning in. Just got to get the tech figured out a little bit. But I'll introduce Drew first. Drew is a magna cum laude PhD graduate from the Punk Rock Academy. This individual spent 7 years at Microsoft organizing the 10,000 member employee sustainability committee. From scratch? From scratch. That's pretty good. 10,000. I've never organized more than 100 people to do anything. Okay, so we're gonna get the Skype Skype connection. Bill, are you there?
I'm Bill McKibben, climate activist and professional buzzkill. You ready for some hot tech gossip? Actually, hot planet gossip. Big tech companies like Microsoft, Google, and Amazon have a huge opportunity to lead the way on climate. But first, they have to free themselves from this coal-stained armpit, also known as the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. It's time to escape the chamber. The Chamber of Commerce is a trade association, an after-school club for corporations like these fine, upstanding businesses. It's super secret. The first rule of the Chamber of Commerce, you do not talk about the Chamber of Commerce. They join so they can lobby the government to do what they want. You know, I scratch your back, you scratch out environmental regulations. In fact, the Chamber of Commerce has been anti-climate for years, spending millions to kill green initiatives. But here's the thing, big oil bros aren't the only members of the chamber. Tech companies like Microsoft, Google, and Amazon are members too. These are supposed to be the good guys on climate, right? They support pro-climate policies, they make big donations, they wear funny hats. But by paying dues to the Chamber of Commerce, the tech companies are enabling the fossil fuel industry. Hypocrisy is in the air, along with carbon dioxide and methane. This is a huge deal right now, because America recently passed the Inflation Reduction Act. It's not perfect, but it's the most climate-friendly legislation in decades and our best chance at preventing the worst effects of climate change. So any company that cares about climate needs to speak out against the Chamber's actions. Lead the way on climate policy. Better yet, leave the Chamber altogether. TLDR, leave and lead. And if you work for one of those companies, I have a message for you. Come here. Closer, closer, too close. You can help your company do the right thing. Sign a petition. Spread the word among your colleagues. Make sure everyone knows how messed up this is. Because if we don't escape the chamber, good luck escaping the planet.
Well, thank you, Jacob, for the very hilarious intro. I did, in fact, get a PhD in punk rock, as stated. And thank you, Bill, for the very Skyped-in live televised intro. Hard to follow up Bill McKibben. So I'm really glad that these lightning talks are only 5 minutes, in my case only 2, because I used a video to eat up half of my time, because I probably have one of the most unpopular messages of anybody here tonight. The private sector is not going to save us from the climate crisis. The key word in business as usual is business. And even ostensibly pro-climate companies, like some of the big tech companies that you saw here, one of which I used to work for, are engaging in trade associations and lobbying and backdoor deals that are actually working actively against getting regulations, laws, and climate policy, which are the real levers that can move us towards meaningful decarbonization. And unsurprisingly, the fossil fuel industry is behind most of these trade associations. Number one on top of that list, as you saw, was the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. So, as you can see, my name is Drew Wilkinson. I'm a climate activist, community organizer, and as Jacob said, the co-founder of Microsoft's 10,000 member employee sustainability community. I'm here tonight on behalf of Climate Voice. They're a nonprofit that organized the campaign with Bill McKibben that you saw there earlier. They're focused exclusively on the role that big tech companies play with advocating for climate policy. So the thesis of my lightning talk is pretty simple. Pro-climate companies need to align their lobbying and trade association memberships to match that. But unfortunately, very few of them actually are. So what can we do about it? Now, I can tell you from personal experience working at Microsoft and organizing with thousands of my fellow colleagues, employees actually can play a very critical role in pushing their companies to become climate leaders. Famously at Microsoft, we all did that to make the company the climate leader that it's known as today. But we even had a couple of successful examples of getting the company to publicly support various climate policies. Does anybody remember Washington Ballot Initiative 1631 from 2018? I'm seeing a few heads nod. Great. That initiative would have actually put a price on carbon for large polluters. Before employees spoke up, Microsoft was quiet about it. After we spoke up, they actually publicly supported it. The ballot initiative ultimately failed twice because of, you guessed it, trade associations. But employees also spoke up last summer when the Inflation Reduction Act was working its way through Congress. Microsoft was auspiciously quiet about whether or not they were going to publicly support it until employees spoke up. After we did, Microsoft came out and publicly supported that. So the point is, when employees speak, companies listen. Here's a couple of things that you can do and your current employers to help them become pro-climate companies and align their policy and lobbying and trade associations to match that. Number one, you can go to escapethechamber.org. That was at the end of the video that you saw with Bill there. There's a petition. There's all kinds of information outlining the various ways that the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and other trade associations have actively blocked climate policy, all kinds of information there that you can get activated in your own company. Wherever you currently work, definitely want to encourage you to join the employee sustainability community. And if there isn't one where you work, you should definitely start one. Come find me later tonight if you want some tips for that. That is my area of expertise. And finally, you should urge your employer to make public commitments, public statements about the need for progressive climate policies, because as long as these trade associations are running the show, we're never going to get there. Thank you.